Okay, then I can see you guys now. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ritesh, Yogeshwaran, Shreyash, Pranav, Ilyas, Kavita, Sai, Mehak, Abhishek. Good evening, guys. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. And welcome to the day 2 of this JavaScript Essential program. I hope all of you are doing well. I hope you guys did a little bit of practice of whatever we learned yesterday, right? So yesterday we learned like how to start with JavaScript, how to create our first simple web page using JavaScript, right? And we saw how to create the basic scripting and like simple variables. We saw some printing stuff, and I also showed you how to select the element in order to manipulate it, right? So yesterday we basically learned that JavaScript on the browser mainly is a DOM manipulation language. That basically means it helps you to manipulate the DOM tree. If you see it as a user, your HTML, your elements that you're going to create, right? And to manipulate any element, we always need to select it first, because without selecting any element, you cannot manipulate it. And we saw one way of selecting a element yesterday, right? We created a simple H1 and we selected it using the document.query selector functionality, and then we changed the text that it was containing by using this inner text property, right? And we also talked about the document object, that it's an inbuilt object given by JavaScript to you, that basically gives you the access to the DOM tree, right, everyone? So that is what we have done till now. It was very basic, but today's session is the most important session. Why? Because today we're going to be learning one more way of selecting element. Now, guys, see, there are multiple ways. There are around 4 to 5 ways, but we cannot do all of them, as we have to also do few more things. Okay, so we'll see one more way of selecting elements, because a lot of people are asking, right, yesterday, so what if I have multiple H1s or something like that? So we'll also see one more way of selecting elements. We'll see how to manipulate CSS. We'll see how to manipulate HTML content, right? We'll see how to manipulate attributes, and we'll also see how event works, so that we can perform something on click, on double click, on drag, on select, something like that as well. No sound? Are you sure, Pradeep? Can you please check your YouTube once? Okay, cool, guys. So let's go and let's start. And okay, fine. So let me first of all remove all of this stuff, because this is old thing now, so we don't need it anymore. Okay, removed all that stuff, and now here we are. Let's also run this page. So yep, let's do the traditional way. Right click, copy the path, and just go in your browser. So let me just take a browser window from this screen, and here we go. Okay, very simple. So what's the use of writing or printing the statement in console? Sai, yesterday we talked about this, right? Like whenever you feel like you have some data and you want to see what is the value of that data, or you want to see what element you're fetching, right? Whenever you want to see what a value is inside the array, if you want to do something like that for debugging, for checking, you can print it in the console, right? And console is also helpful in showing you errors. So if you have any error or something like that, console also helps you to see that. Okay, RDX highlight, please don't spam the chat, buddy. Please don't spam. Good evening, buddy. Please don't spam the chat. Okay, so guys, let's go and let's start. Everyone, I hope we are ready and excited, guys. Let's start then. Cool. So first things first, yesterday we saw how to fetch an element or how to select an element using the concept of query selector. Now this query selector functionality helps you to select an element by using any way. Like it can also select element using class name, it can also select element using ID, and it can also select element using tag name. For example, let's say I have one more H1. Okay. And let's also write some cool things here. So let's write some Avenger names, right? As the movie is coming tomorrow, I think tomorrow, not on Saturday. Oh, yeah, tomorrow. So Doctor Strange. And let's write here Wanda. Okay. Okay, cool. Now then, here, if I write document.query selector H1, now here I have only mentioned H1. It will be confused which one to select. So in this case, this will always select only the first one. It will only select only the first one. Now it's exactly similar to CSS, kind of like in CSS also. When you select element using tag name and apply some CSS, it gets applied everywhere. Here it is not happening, but in CSS it gets applied everywhere. So to differentiate, what do? We give them classes or IDs so that we can uniquely identify them. Because of the tag names, they are similar. So to uniquely identify them, we give them ID or class. And just like that, we can also do it here. What we can do is we can go ahead here and we can give it an ID. So we can give it an ID of, let's say, DR, or yeah, DR, that stands for doctor basically. And let's give this an ID of let's say PR, powerful, something like that. Okay, doesn't matter in this case. And now let's see how to use the same query selector to select the element using its ID. And for that, let me show you by printing it. So let me just log it for you. Console.log. Okay. And now here I have mentioned H1. In this case, it will only fetch the first one. But what if I want to select anything of my choice? For that, if you want, you can also mention ID here. So I can go ahead and mention hash PR. Since it's ID, you need to mention hash. So document.query selector, get the element that is having an ID of PR. In this case, it will take this one. Let's confirm it once, guys. Save it. Go in your browser. And here we go. See that, guys? I got the second H1, Wanda. If I hover on it, see? And for some people asking, right, what is the use of console? This is, you can also print elements over there and see. And when you hover on them, you can see what is happening, like what element you have actually selected. So console helps a lot in terms of debugging, working on the elements, seeing what elements are getting manipulated, all that stuff. Okay, now once I've got the element, I can do anything. The main important thing is to get the element. Guys, see, the most important thing in DOM manipulation is getting the element, selecting the element. After that, you can do whatever you want. So now, if I want, I've selected the second H1, I can go ahead and change its inner text. Let's say inner text equals I am powerful. So now what will happen here is, see, focus everyone, please focus. Initially, in my H1, I have Wanda. But when the JavaScript loads, what I want to happen, I want that element's inner text to be changed to I am powerful. So initially it is Wanda, but as soon as the JS loads, it will select that P element, sorry, H1 element, and it will change its inner text to I am powerful. Let's see that if it is happening. Here we go. That, guys, that's cool. But it doesn't look good, right? Then what is the use of Wanda here? Right? It doesn't look good. That's the problem. So why this is happening? Because whatever JS you write inside the script tag, that will always execute by default when the page loads. What if I don't want this JS to execute on the page load? What if I want this code to execute whenever I want? Right? What if I want to execute this line of code whenever I want it to execute? So for that, guys, we have to learn a concept called as event handling. But yeah, before that, let me answer a question. Please, once again, sir, I didn't understand. What did you do not understand, Chetan? Can you please tell me? Okay, see, just to explain you again, if you're not there yesterday, first of all, you have to watch yesterday's session as well to understand what is document, what is query selector. Okay, so document is an object which gives you access to the tree, the DOM tree. Query selector is a function which helps you to select any element from that tree. So I'm telling my query selector, select the element which is having ID of PR. So now in this tree, I have two elements, and which one is having ID of PR? This H1. So it selects that element. Then I say, change its inner text to I am powerful. So initially, inner text means whatever text that particular element is containing. So it is containing Wanda initially, but as soon as the JS loads, I'm converting it to I am powerful. And that's what is happening. But right now, it's happening on page load. Like as soon as my page loads, for the first time also, I can see I am powerful. I don't see Wanda. Because what happens is, you refresh the page or you open the page. Initially, it is Wanda, but you can't see. And on the spot, it becomes I am powerful, because this code also executes on the spot on the page load. Is that clear, guys? Everyone cool with this? Right now, this code is executing when the page loads. So when the page load, two things are happening. Wanda is also getting created, but at the same time, this is also happening. And that's why you cannot see Wanda, because it's so fast, right? So now what I want to do is, I want to perform this code based on any event, based on any operation. I don't want it to happen on the spot or on page load. So there are two text are printed, but we can give only PR. What is the difference between index? You'll see that, Francis. Don't worry. Just wait for a minute. Sir, there are two text are printed, but we can give only PR ID. Yes, because I only want to select this element. I'm not working on this element at all. I just gave both of them IDs, but I only want to work with this element. Simple. Okay. So now, guys, let's talk about the concept of event handling. Okay. So now what exactly is this event handling? Let's try to understand that. And to understand that, let me open some site like, let's say, flipkart.com, shopping site. Simple. So first of all, guys, to understand event handling, you have to understand what exactly is an event. Event is nothing but any interaction that you perform on the web page or on the app. I'm not going to generally say web page, on the app. Okay, it can also be mobile app in future. So event is something that you perform on the app. Whatever interaction as a user you perform. For example, I go ahead and click here. I'm performing an event, right? I go ahead and start typing in here. I'm performing an event. I go ahead and click on this login button. I perform the event. I click on this close button. I perform the event. Anything that I do, I move my mouse somewhere, I'm performing an event. I type anything, I'm performing an event. Any interaction that you perform on the web page, on the app, is considered as an event. Is that clear, guys? Can we use get element by ID in this case? Yes, definitely. But just wait for some time. I'll tell you all that. Let's go step by step. Don't worry, guys. Let's go step by step. I'll tell you get element by ID. I'm going to teach you a lot of things today. Don't worry. Let's just go step by step. Okay. See, if I click here, this is also an event. If I just move my mouse on these elements, that's also an event. If I just go ahead in a box and start typing, any interaction that you perform on the app can be considered as an event. Now, what I want to learn is when I perform an event, how to do something based on it. For example, let's say I create a button here, right? And I just give it a text of click. Okay, cool. Now, when I click on this button, I'm performing interaction. That's fine. You are performing an event now, but nothing is happening because you're not telling this event what to do. So we have to tell this event what to do. That's very, very important. So let's learn, guys, how to give an event a task or what to do basically. Okay, so let's go. So for that, guys, what you have to do is you have to go ahead and create something called as a function. Okay, a function is nothing but a block of code. That's all, a set of code that doesn't execute by default. You have to call it to execute. So what you can do is use the function keyword, give it some name so that you can use it to call this particular function. So let's call it function do something. Now if you're already from a programming background like C or C++, you might already know what is a function. So that's what I'm considering as of now. Okay, so that's how you create a function, guys. Simple. Just use the keyword function, give it some name, whatever you want. Just don't give any bad name, give it a meaningful name. Don't use any numbers in the start, don't use any spaces. Okay, just like you name variables. So function keyword, then function name, then don't forget this rounded brackets or parenthesis, and then this is the block where you can write code. For example, let me show you. If I write console.log directly outside in the script, what happens? Anything that I write outside directly in the script, it will execute when the page loads. See that? We get hello because it is executing on the page load. But if I put this console.log inside this function, now it's not executing because functions don't execute themselves on the page load. And that's how we can stop executing things on the page load. We can put them inside functions. So a function is nothing but a block or a set of code which you can call or execute whenever you feel like, whenever you want. Simple. So function, I give it a name so that I can use this name to call it whenever I feel like, whenever I want, and I can put any code inside it. In this case, it's simple console.log, but I can put whatever code I want in here. Okay. Now, nothing is happening. Now, what I want to do is, I want whenever I click on this button, this code should execute. Whatever code is inside this function should execute whenever I click on this button. So how to do that? So now, guys, see, we have created the task. Task is console.log. And we also have the button on where the event is getting performed here. how to connect these two. Now that is very important. How to connect that task to this button. And it's very simple. Now you have a lot of event handling attributes available in HTML. So you just go on that button and use an attribute called as on click and just pass a value as this function name. So on click, please call this function, and that should be it. That's it. That's all. So you have the button on which you were performing the event, but nothing was happening. Now I tell that button, whenever someone clicks on you, you need to call do something function. And do something function will be called. So whatever code is inside that will be executed. In this case, it's simply a console.log. That doesn't matter. The thing that matters here is we are understanding how to give a task to an event. Now let's see if this is actually working. Save it. Go here. And now guys, when I click, this function will be called and it will execute this code. And on the console, I should get hello. Let's see if it is happening. Refresh and now click. See that everyone? Click, 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 and it is printing hello every time. Simple. That's how basic event handling works. So now guys, you have actually done event handling. You have handled the event. You have assigned a particular functionality to the event that now this event will do this. Very simple. Is that clear, guys? And now it's up to me. Whatever code I want to put inside this function, I can do that. It's up to me. So if I want, I can remove this code, I can comment this code, and I can put this particular code in here. Why not? Completely fine. So now, guys, think of the same thing again. Think of the same thing again. Initially, this thing was happening on load. So whenever the page loads, Wanda is changed to I am powerful. So I was unable to see Wanda, but now it will not happen because now only when I click on the button, this code will execute and then it will change this Wanda to powerful. Let's see. Save it. Now see, we still have Wanda here. Amazing. And now let's click. And here we go. It changes to I am powerful because as soon as I click, this function is called. And what this function is doing, it is basically accessing the document tree, your DOM tree, and selecting the PR element from that. That is nothing but this particular H1. And then changing its inner text to whatever it is, replace it with I am powerful. And that's it. See, click and it changes. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, basic event handling. Guys, I can see a question coming from Pradeep. What do you mean by ES6 JavaScript? ES6 is, think of it like it's a new version of JavaScript. Now it's not new anymore because it was introduced in 2015. But yeah, just like you have HTML5, HTML4, new version of HTML that comes in the market with new features, new version of CSS, new version of a software. So ES6 is nothing but the new, think of it like a new version of JavaScript in which a lot of new things were added. It is like that. Okay. So basically ES is ECMAScript that basically controls and manages the standard of JavaScript. So ES6 is nothing but a new standard of JavaScript that was introduced in way back in 2015. So now it's not new, it's pretty old now. It's like I would think around 7 years maybe. Yeah, 7 years, 2015. Guys, everyone, are we cleared? How to print to web, not in console, I mean task. That's what we are doing. See, we printed something, right? On the page. Initially, there was Wanda. So if you talk about printing, Sai, printing is what? Just putting some content on the page, right? So this is printing. I printed I am powerful on the page, right? Okay. Guys, is everyone cleared? Please tell me. Why is JS evergreen? Because few things that JS does, no one else can do. And JS is very easy to understand and learn. I think that is one of the case. That's why it's evergreen. Okay. Cool. Everyone done with this stuff, basic event handling. Now we're going to move ahead and see, guys, as I mentioned, first focus on this line. Focus on this line that I can write any code inside this. Okay, so don't think that I'm always going to write document.query selector inside a function. If someone is having this concept in mind, don't think of it like this. This is a function. I can do anything I want inside this. I can console.log, I can print on the console, I can select elements, I can manipulate things, I can do whatever I want. Okay, understand that. Okay, so let's go guys, let's learn few more things. So query selector is one way of selecting an element, but there is one more way of selecting an element. That is, I'm going to print it to show you. That is via using the same objects, that is document, but a different function, not query selector. The function name is get element by ID. So in here you're directly mentioning, I'm trying to fetch an element, I'm trying to select the element by its ID. So you can just put a bracket and just put the ID here. So in this case, guys, I have two elements. This H1, this H1. Both of them have IDs. One ID is DR, one ID is PR. So let's say I want to select the first element. So guys, which ID I'll put here? Simple, DR. So I'll go here and put DR. And let's see if I'm getting the element. And right now, see guys, again, this code is inside the function. And this function is only called when I click on the button. So I need to click on the button to see that, right? So let's go. Save it again. And let's see, are we getting the DR element? Click. And here we go. See, we got the whole element. And now we are ready to manipulate it. Should we do that, guys? Let's go. Now I can manipulate anything. So I can manipulate its text. So to manipulate the text, we know what is the property name. It's nothing but inner text. So I can say, no, I am powerful, right? Something like that. So basically, I'm selecting the first H1, which is having ID of DR, this one, and I'm basically changing its inner text to no, I am powerful, which was initially Dr. Strange. Okay, let's go. Here we go. See that? Same thing. So initially it was Dr. Strange. I changed it to no, I am powerful. The text that I wanted here. Cool, guys, everyone. So this is one more way of selecting. So query selector is one way, get element by ID is one way, and you can use anything from it depending on your preference, depending on how it works. And the more time you spend in this, you'll understand the advantages and disadvantages also of using these things. So don't worry about that. But as of now, yes, both are fine, both are good. Nothing is like as slow or as fast as compared to each other. So you can, yeah, definitely use both of them. But over time, you'll understand the differences and you'll figure out what to use in this case. Okay, cool then, guys. Let's move ahead, everyone. Okay, because we need to learn a lot of things, not only manipulating H1, right? Let's go ahead and do a few more things. So now I'll be using this function only, but in future we can also create multiple functions, guys. Don't worry. Right now I'm using this function only. Okay, and I'll keep all this code so that when I share this file with you, you'll have this code with you and you can check it out. Cool. Now then, and also let me just zoom out the page. It's too big. Zoom. Yep. Cool. Now again, guys, let's go and let me create a div. Okay, and give it a class of anything like box, something like that, and let's apply some CSS. Who is better? What is better, web development or app development, right? RDX. So see, in this case, it's not like who is or what is better. It's like, see, both of them are different platforms. So first of all, you cannot compare them. It depends on the user base. It depends on what you prefer as well. Right, nowadays, whatever people are making, they are making everything on web as well as app. Facebook also has a website, Facebook also has an app, Instagram also has a website, Instagram also has an app. Depends on what you're creating. So whatever you're creating, you have to understand that, okay, fine, for your particular product, who is the audience, what are they using, are they using apps, are they using mobile phone, are they using computers? Depending on that, you have to create either a website or a web app or a mobile app. So it's not about what is better. Both of them are fine. Both of them are good. Both of them are different platforms. But depending on what you're creating, depending on who will use them, you have to focus. Either you have to make an app or you have to make a website. Right? So that's the thing. Right? Cool. Let's go, guys. Let me also apply some styling here. So style and then a simple dot box. I hope everyone knows little basic CSS, guys. So height of, let's say, 200 pixels. width of 200 pixels, and let's say background color of light green, something like that. Let's see if we have this box. Here we go, a simple green box, right guys, everyone? And let's simply go ahead and put some dummy text inside that for now. So let me just put dummy, or let's just say um, Wong. Yes, someone mentioned Wong, right? So let's not miss him. Let's put Wong here. Cool. So we have Wong. You can see that. Cool. Amazing. Now let me also give it an ID so that we can fetch this element when I want to manipulate it. So ID of box as well. Okay. Now guys, one question. One question. Just it's very easy, but let me ask so that let me see how many people from you are understanding this. So I want to select this element. I want to select this element because I want to manipulate it now. So with the help of the ID, what code should I write to select this element? Everyone, what code should I write to select this particular element with the help of its ID? Come on, everyone. Very simple. Guys, everyone, come on. I want to select this element with the help of the ID. Write me the line of code. What should I use? Guys, come on, quickly. You have to answer quickly so that we can move ahead and we can also work on images and CSS and attributes, all that stuff. Right? So come on, quickly, everyone. I want to manipulate this element, and for that I need to select it first. So the line that I have to write, exactly, get element by ID. Yes, I can use that. So I can either go for query selector or I can use get element by ID. Both are fine in this case, right? Amazing. All the answers. Cool. Perfect. So let's go inside this function. Let's do it. Let's not give it this name. Let's create a new function, guys. Actually, let's create a new function. Let's keep it like this. Leave it. Leave it. Let's put this button on top. Let's create a new function, new button, so that you can see how new things are getting created. Okay. Let me create a new button here. Let me call it change box, or let's simply say in this case manipulate box, right? Or change content, something like that. Okay, fine. So now I have this green box and I have this change content, and you can also give it a margin if you need. So just there's a little gap, so margin of 10 pixel, like that. There we go, a little bit of gap. And now let me create a new function for this. Okay, so let's remove this space, extra space. Okay, and let's create a new function, guys. The function change, give it any name. So let me call it change box. Then now first thing is I need to select the element with the help of its ID. So document dot get element by ID box. You don't need to mention hash, guys. If you're using query selector, then you need to mention a hash, because query selector doesn't understand by which way are you selecting, by tag name, by class name, or by ID. That's why you need to mention hash there. But when you're using get element by ID, you have already mentioned that I'm going to be you selecting this element via ID, because the function name is get element by ID. So you can just write the ID name. No need to mention hash while using get element by ID. Cool. Now done. And also, guys, just to confirm if this function is working, you can do one thing. Always just do this console.log, simple console.log. Console.log working. Let's call this function on the new button that we have created. So on click, change box. Save it. Let's go. Let's see, guys, if this is working. Here we go. See, we get working. That means this function is also working. Amazing. Now we are ready to go. We are all like, now we are cleared that, okay, our function is working. Now let's use this. So document.get element by ID box. That means I have selected this box and I want to change its content. So let me use inner text again. Let me just put Wong is powerful. Right? Let's see if it is working at least. Initially there is Wong only. Now let's go. Here we go. It changed to Wong is powerful. But this is something that we have already learned, right? Inner text. So what is new in this? So the new thing is, I want to teach you one more thing here now, because a lot of people are asking, right, what is the difference between inner text and inner HTML? Let's see now what is the actual difference. Now, first of all, if you also use inner HTML here, that will also work exactly same. See, first thing, see, same. So what's the difference? To understand the difference, let's do this. Let's go in inner text and let's try to pass element from here, like in H1. So instead of just passing a simple string, let's pass that element encapsulated inside an H1. Let's try to pass element from here. Let's see what's happening. So what I'm saying now is, select the box element and inside it inner text, put this Wong is powerful text with H1 tag. Let's see what's happening. Save it. Here we go. H1 is also getting printed as a normal text. The effect of H1 is not working because inner text considers everything as a text. So even if you pass some HTML elements, it will still consider it as a text. And that's how inner text behaves. Everything for inner text is text, no matter if it is an HTML tag as well. And that's where inner HTML comes to the rescue. It understands the difference between text and HTML and treats text like text and treats HTML like HTML. Now let's see. See that? Now it's big and bold and right? That's because inner HTML. It understands that, okay, fine, it's a H1 and this is a text. So put the text and make sure that the effect of H1 is also applied. So now it's working like a tag. That is the difference between inner text and inner HTML. Both can be used to put content inside an element, but inner text should be used to only put textual content. Inner HTML can be used to put textual as well as HTML content. Got the difference, everyone? If both the elements of H1 have same ID, the query selector will select both or will give error. Now, there are few things to understand here, break and learn. First thing, according to W3C rule, according to the standards, you should never give same IDs to multiple elements. That's actually an error according to W3C. So if you ever validate your HTML code, you'll always get error that duplicate IDs. Second thing, even if you give two IDs, only the first one will be selected. So working wise, only first one. But logic wise, it's wrong. You should never give same IDs to multiple elements. An ID should be unique in HTML, right? Everyone, are we cleared? Guys, difference between inner text and inner HTML. Now, let's talk about few more things. Now we know how to manipulate content, right? We know how to manipulate text. We know how to simply put some HTML inside a box, right? We can do that now. Now, what if I also want to manipulate CSS, like height, width, color, something like that? What can I do that? What is W3C? W3C stands for World Wide Web Consortium. It's an authority that keeps check and maintains the languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on the web. It's a web authority. It maintains the technologies of internet, the three main layers, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It basically maintains and keeps the standard. Think of it like the authority that checks all things on the browser, right? Think of it like that. Okay, World Wide Web Consortium. Okay, everyone, cool. So now, as I mentioned, guys, earlier, that whenever you want to manipulate an element, the first thing is you have to select the element. So now I decide, when I click on this button, I want to change the color of this box. I decide when I click on this button, I want to change the color of this box. How can I do that? Let's see. So first thing, you want to change the color of the box. Changing color is the second thing. But first, you want to work on the box. So initially, your mind should always go for this. First, let's select the element. We'll do whatever you want afterwards. First important thing is select the element. And selecting is always similar. Document.get element by ID box. Fine. Got it. And then now, if you ever want to change CSS of any element, no issues, guys. Select the element and then dot style dot any CSS property. So you can see all the options will work here. For example, I want to change background color. So what is the CSS property for background color, guys? It's background hyphen color. Let's try that. Background hyphen color equals, let's say, red. Let's see if it is working. First of all, it is directly giving me error here. Why? I'll tell you. Because JS is also a programming language, and hyphen for JS is minus. Hyphen is the operator, right? Sorry, minus is the operator in JavaScript. It's a programming language. So that's why the way you write CSS properties in CSS, see here we write background hyphen color. You cannot write the CSS properties in the same way in JS. Properties are same. It will still work same, but you cannot write it in the same way because hyphen is considered as minus in JS. And that's why you need to write it in a camel case like this. It is still the same property. It will still work same, but understand that don't put hyphen. Okay, that means if it is font hyphen size, it will become font capital S size. If it is box hyphen shadow, it will become box S capital shadow. So every other word will start with uppercase. That's what camel casing means basically. You can see I'm also naming my functions in camel case. Start with lowercase, then every other word's first letter is uppercase. That's what camel casing is. Okay, so that's what JS follows. It has converted all the CSS properties to camel case properties. So you have to write it like them. They still work the same, but yeah, this is a restriction. Now then, let's go. Let's see. So right now, guys, it's green. Let's click on this button and we'll see if this is converting to red. Here we go. Amazing, right? It is green, click, and red. So now we know how to change CSS. And guys, see, as I mentioned, dot style dot any CSS property. That means you can literally do anything. Let's see. Again, fetch the element. For the same element, I also want to do one more thing. That is, I want to change its font size. So font size equals 50 pixel. Let's see if both of them are working. See, initially Wong was around 16 pixel, something, some size. I don't know what was the size, but yeah. And here we go. Wong has increased. And the color is also red. I can do anything, guys. I can do anything now. The whole CSS is in my hands now, only for this session. Style dot, I can also change the height. So height equals, let's not change the height because the button will go outside. Let's change the width. Width equals, initially it is 200. Let me make it 400 pixels. Let's see if it is increasing. See that? Guys, simple. I can do anything. And one more thing, guys, one more thing. Okay. Now see, whenever, if some element you have created and it's already having some CSS, and if you change its CSS, okay, that means you're changing the state of CSS. So there is one really cool property available in CSS. You might have heard of this if you have ever learned CSS, called as transition, which gives timing to CSS changes like this. I can go to that element and I can say, I want you to have transition of 0.5 seconds. That means now, if at any point of time your CSS changes from this to something else, you will take 0.5 seconds to do that. Simple. See, initially background color is light green, width is 200. And here I'm changing background color to red and width to 400. It's a CSS change. So if you have ever given transition to any element, that CSS change will take this much time. Let's see. And that is what will make it look animated. See that? See that, guys? Now it's not happening like this. It's looking animated, happening slowly, fine, cool, right? So that's what you can do. Just added one single property called as transition that gives timing to the CSS change. Simple. Are we cleared, everyone? So that's how you work with CSS. And as I'm telling you, you can select any element. Don't always think that you also have to, just if someone has this doubt. Okay. Okay, kindly repeat transition. Okay, fine, I'll do that. But see, guys, again, it is a very basic CSS property. So you guys also have to focus on CSS. See, I'll tell you. Transition basically means transition duration. That means if, see, understand. Right now, the box is green. The height and width is 200. That is nothing but what I gave initially. Now what I'm telling you is, if at any point of time something or someone changes its CSS via code, right? Either it is JavaScript or it is CSS. Take this much time to change it. That's it. That's what transition is. Transition means transition duration, the change duration. So now from 200, it is becoming what? 400. So to go from 200 to 400, I want you to take 0.5 seconds so that you look good. Otherwise, it was happening in a click, right? Like this. So that's why. That's what transition is. Like for example, it also works for hover. See, if I go and put normal CSS hover, again I'm doing CSS changes. Let's say I do background color yellow green, something like that. Come on, spelling mistake. Yellow green. So it's also change of CSS. Initially it is background color light green, and when I hover on it, I'm changing it to yellow green. So this transition will again come into effect because you're changing CSS. So let's see and see that. Now it's not a much of a difference, but I was trying to make it look good. So let's do it complete yellow for now. See that? Takes a little time, right? So transition basically checks if the CSS is changing, and if it is changing, please take this much time to change it. That's it. Okay. Give an ID to, okay, you're answering Veera, I think. Query selector to select image tag and how to change two images. Don't worry, Veera. I'll show you that in some time. Don't worry. But everyone, have we understood this, guys? Please tell me. Guys, changing of CSS is cleared. Now let's also work with changing of attribute. Okay, and I hope that everyone knows what is attribute, guys, in HTML. It's nothing but, so how to change that animation in automatically. Automatically meaning what? Like when the page loads, it should happen. Then you have to write this code on a page load. Right now, I'm doing it inside a function that I'm calling only when I click on the button, right? But if I just put this code outside, it will happen on load whenever the page loads. And if you want to make it more automatic, then you have to also learn something called as timer functions or CSS animations. So there are a few more things that we need to learn for that, and we'll definitely learn it. Okay, so guys, I would take this time, just 2 minutes of here, to also announce one important thing. See guys, again, as guys are asking a lot of questions like about how to do that and this and all that stuff. Amazing questions, but the only thing is we only have 3 days for this essentials, so we cannot cover all that stuff. But definitely, if you guys are interested, if you guys are liking all these things, and if you guys want to learn more from scratch till the end, till the advanced things, and also want to learn how to create cool things, you can also join our full stack web development course, where when you join, we start from scratch, from basic HTML CSS to advanced CSS, JavaScript, React, Node.js, right? All the frameworks, and we also like do around 15 plus projects in there. So if you guys are interested, you can also check out our full stack web development courses, where I'll be teaching you the whole full stack web development with 15 plus projects. So after the end of the course, you will be actually ready to create anything, like Facebook, like Instagram, or like anything, any website, any web app, anything. Okay, so if you guys are interested, you can just go there and check them out. Otherwise, you can just keep enjoying the essentials. That's also fine. I'm going to be coming with a lot of essentials in future as well. Next week also we have an essential. So yeah, and no need to worry. Tomorrow is also our JS session, where we'll be making a project as well. So only if you're interested, please check it out. Thank you so much. Let's move ahead now. Okay, guys, let's go, guys. To For all the information regarding fees and everything, just go on letsupgrade.in. So I'll just show you here. Just go on letsupgrade.in here, and you can check out our courses. See, in this programs tab, just go on the programs and you can see everything here. See, right now this is going on, right? JavaScript Essential 0 to Hero free program. So you can check out our whole courses here. See, full stack web development. So you can just come here, check it out, and see if you guys like it, if you guys want to just get in. Okay, cool. Let's move ahead, guys. Let's move ahead. So how to pass data from UI dynamically to the function as props. How to pass data from UI? That means, are you talking about input fields, right? Because if you talk about more about like props setup, then it goes to React. But if you talk about here, like, okay, fine, if you want to know how to read input fields value, according to your question, I'm trying to understand that you want to pass some input field value. to the function so that you can use it, right, Nilesh? That's what I'm understanding in terms of your question. But if you're specifically talking about props and all that stuff, then we have to go to React. Okay, but yeah, if you're talking about how to dynamically pass value from the UI, that is from input field to the function, I'll show you that in some time. Don't worry. Okay, guys, let's move ahead and let's see how to work with attributes. Now, guys, first of all, let me tell you what is attributes if you don't know. Attributes are nothing but these properties of tags. ID is an attribute of H1. On click is an attribute of button, right? Everything is an attribute. For example, I create an input field. So this type is an attribute. So properties of tags are what you call as attributes. So this type, this placeholder, this what else we have? This value, all of them are nothing but attributes of tags. Is that clear, everyone? And every tags have different attribute. And by using CSS, we can also manipulate these attributes. Let's see how to work with that as well. And for that, let me just answer one more guy's question as well. That he was asking how to change images, right? So let's use attribute manipulation to change the image. Guys, let's go. First of all, let's go and let's create an image. Now again, if you see, to put an image on the web, you again use image tag and its attribute called as SRC. So yes, you are using an attribute. So yes, we can actually take benefit of attribute manipulation. So first of all, let's go. Let's download an image. You guys saw the trailer, everyone? Really cool, right? Real cool trailer. So let's take this image. Okay, I'm just directly using the online link. You guys also, if you want, you can download it. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Use online link or download it, doesn't matter. Until and unless it is inside SRC, it's fine. Okay, save it and let's see if we are getting it. There we go. Quite big. Let's make it a little smaller. I think I have zoomed my page that much. If I make it like this, so it's this much, but yeah, still can give it some height and width. So height of 200 pixels as well. Okay, good enough. Fine. Cool. Let me just put a BR tag here so that it comes in the next line. Fine. Cool. And now let me also create a button here, to which I'm going to write change image. Cool. Now, guys, what I want is I have a Thor image here. Okay. And when I click on change image, I want to change this image to something else. Okay. So let's search for Thor, new Thor, basically, the new one. Let's see if we have any image here. We have this poster. Let's take this poster for now. Or we can also take this one. This is too big. Let's take this one. Copy this. Copy the image address. Keep it with you. Now, let's go. First of all, let's create a function. Function, call it change image. Now again, guys, very first thing, you want to change the element. See, again, it doesn't matter, do you want to manipulate attribute, or you want to manipulate CSS, or you want to manipulate content. It doesn't matter. The first thing of manipulation is select the element, the first rule. So again, let's go and let's give this image a ID so that we can select this element. So let's call it image, an ID of image, and let's select this element now. So document dot get element by ID. The ID is image. So basically, this thing will give me the element. I have selected the element. Now I want to manipulate the attribute. And which attribute, guys? SRC, because SRC is responsible for loading the image. So to manipulate any attribute in JavaScript, first select the element and then dot set attribute. Inside this, you can pass two things. First, which attribute you want to manipulate, because see, the image tag is having so many attributes. It's having ID an attribute, it's having a height attribute, and it's having a SRC attribute. Which attributes value you will change to see a new image? If you change height, only height will change. If you change ID, a lot of bad things will happen in this case. But yes, I know if I change the source, I can load a new image. So let's go. I want to manipulate the SRC attribute and I want to change its value to this new value that I got from here. Copy the address and put it here. That's it. That's all, guys. So select the element dot set attribute, which attribute you want to change and what new value you want to give. Just pass it here, and that's it. That's all. Now just go ahead and call this function on that button, and that should be it. Let's see. One click, call this function. Let's see, guys. Everyone, let's see. And here we go. Perfect. Done. That's how simple it was. So now we know how to manipulate content with the help of inner text and inner HTML, how to manipulate CSS with the help of dot style, and how to manipulate any attribute. I only showed you how to manipulate SRC. But guys, see, everything is an attribute. You can manipulate anything. It's up to you. You can manipulate ID, height, width, anything, any attribute. So now you know almost all aspects of manipulation. You can manipulate CSS, you can manipulate content, and you can also manipulate attributes. So you can manipulate the whole dome now if you want. Is that clear, everyone? So yep, that's how you manipulate things. And tomorrow now, with the help of all the things that we have learned till now, we will try to make something. So now, in the meantime, in the last few minutes that we have, you guys tell me, what do you guys want as a project? Think from what we have learned. Don't directly tell me so shopping site and all that stuff. We cannot build that. It's not possible. Like, we can definitely build that, but it will not be possible for everyone to understand who is just starting new and learning all these things today. Is that clear, guys? So tell me, guys, everyone, from whatever we have learned, what do you guys want to make? Like, I have some options. We can make a data filter project where I can display some data, and we can create a cool search bar where people can search and click on search, and we can filter the whole data. We can create this. Okay. We can create what do you say? You suggest me. Come on, I'm not getting any idea now. What if we have multiple SRC? Can we change specific SRC? First of all, Ashish, in a single tag, you cannot have multiple SRC. And if you're talking about multiple image elements, then you can give all of them different IDs, right? Then you can select them separately. Right, Ashish? First thing is your single image cannot have multiple SRCs. Second thing is if your question is like, sir, what if I have multiple images? Then how to select a specific one? That's what we have learned in the whole day. You can give ID to any specific element and select it. Right? Data filter, login page. Okay, I can get an option here, login page. So basically, you guys want me to just create a cool looking login page where I can put username and password, but we'll not have a real backend. We don't have real data to test. So we have to check it here only. And I can show you how to redirect to another page based on login if you guys want that. Make a single page app. If I make that, then it will be like only a design, right? It will be mostly focused on design then, not on the JS part. Chat app. For chat app, we need some API, what do you say, dependency or some real backend. Tic-tac-toe. Okay, that's a good option I can think of. So now I have two options, guys. Data filter, tic-tac-toe. Image slider is also there. Okay. To-do list, it will become very simple. It will be very simple actually. Calculator. Okay. Again, it's very simple, but I'll pick it as an option. Okay. Okay. Vinay, are you there? Can you just put in poll? If at all it is possible to put a poll, Vinay? Can you please tell me in the chat? Are you there? Can you please put a poll? Okay, let me see if he's available here. Can I put a poll? Let me just check. No, I don't have option, I think. Let me just see. No, I don't have that option. Random number guess. It will be very, very easy actually. Very simple project. For us, from whatever we've learned, it will just take around 5 minutes, 20 minutes to do it actually. But we can do that, obviously. New Year countdown timer. Okay, that's also a good option. Image slider is a good option. Okay. Okay, what is to be put? Vinay, just put calculator, put tic tac toe, and put data filter. And what else I can put? I want to give one more option, guys. Uh, See, we have only 1 hour, so depending on that, we also have to think. Okay. So, mm, countdown. Do you guys want countdown timer, everyone? I'm just thinking it will become very simple. That's why I'm not mentioning it. But do you guys want countdown timer, guys? Countdown timer or to-do list? What do you guys want? I have put 3 options already: image slider, data filter, and what was the other one? Tic tac toe. Scientific calculator. Okay, we can try that obviously, but we have to then I have to curate all the formulas first. Okay, instead of a simple calculator, guys, we can actually put a scientific calculator, but then yeah, first option is better. Local storage. Yes, we are going to use local storage. I'll show you how to use local storage when we create data filter. Don't worry. Yes, I want to do some hard thing, but the only thing is that we only have 1 hour, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to get some good option from all the chats here. Data filter is best. Wrong option, Vinay. Not data slider. It should be image slider and data filter, not image filter. Can you please put it again, if at all it is possible, Vinay? Data filter, tic tac toe, image slider. Guys, wait. We are putting the poll again. Don't worry. We are putting the poll again. Okay, put 4 options, Vinay. Data filter, image slider, and tic tac toe and login page. So in login page, I can teach you guys local storage. Okay, and we can just check, and I'll show you how to redirect to different page. We can also do that. Okay, don't worry. So can you please put yes, repeat again. I'll tell you: data filter, image slider, and tic tac toe, and the fourth one is login page. 4 options: data filter, image slider, tic tac toe, and I always forget the last one. What was that again? Login page. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. So guys, the poll is out. Please go ahead and vote and let me see what's there, and then I can make it tomorrow. Select the best one. Let's see. Mm. Okay, guys, don't worry. Now you just vote, and it's a fair thing, right, guys? So don't worry, guys. Don't get disheartened if your topic doesn't come up. Whatever it is, we are going to learn. We're going to learn something out of it. Okay. So don't get disheartened if your particular topic is not selected. So that's why I'm doing it based on votes. I'm just waiting for the results. So a query here, when I put submit a type in input tag, which have one click function, it doesn't work. But when I use a button type, yes, because submit button is the type submit button is made to submit a form. It will always refresh the page. So when the page refreshes, the whole effect of JS goes away. That's why when you use button type button, it works. And when you use button type submit, it doesn't work. Because submit buttons by default behavior is to submit the form and refresh the page. That's why on submit button, we generally try to avoid putting any JavaScript code because it will refresh the page and nothing will happen. Where can I see the poll result? I'm unable to see the poll result. Can you guys see the poll result? I'm unable to see it. Majority is going for data filter followed by login page. Okay. Cool. 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 Fine. Fine. I'll be having a surprise for you guys. Don't worry. Let's see. I can also join together the data filter and login. You don't know. We can join that. But again, guys, I'm telling you that our login page will be just having a behavior of login. It will not be a real login because the real login requires a backend and an API. Okay. So I'll just show you how the behavior of login works. So we'll create a username field, password field. We'll take the values, we'll check it internally, and we'll redirect the page if it is correct. And if it is not correct, we'll show the error. Okay. But the concept still remains the same. In a real application, you have to send that to a real backend. In our application, we don't have a real backend, so we'll check it on the front end only internally. Okay, so let's try. Let me see if I can mix all these things and make something out of it. Okay, so right now data filter is winning. Let's see if I can combine few things and make something out of it. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for today. I really hope that you guys understood everything. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the session today and learned something really cool. So please let me know in the chat, guys, if you guys enjoyed or not. And I'll see all of you tomorrow exactly at 6:30 where we start building the project. Is that clear, everyone? Yeah, I can see data filter is winning clearly. So data filter is already there. I'll just see if I can integrate login in there. Okay. I will create data filter only. I'll just see if I can integrate login. Tic-tac-toe is now not an option because it's a separate big thing to make. It cannot be done in like 20 minutes or 10 minutes with explanation, obviously. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm really glad that you guys were here till the end. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I want to see all of you 300 people tomorrow as well. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Have a great night, guys. Bye bye. Thank you so much.